Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I love all Amber. And today we are going to continue a reaction video to the video title Frank James INFJ versus Jumper INFJ Joyce Meng. What's the difference? And this is part 2. So, like I mentioned in the part 1 reaction video to this topic, I will make basically a 3-part series because they're gonna talk about a lot of things and I want to be present as much as possible. And the last reaction video I made, it was like 44 minutes reacting to a 20-minute start. So I'm going to make sure. Actually, no. I'm probably gonna have this video be just as long as the previous video because I'm trying to give this topic the appropriate amount of attention it's needed, like I just said, but I'm looking at it from a different lens. So let's start.
Yeah, I have NF consume, so I'm a good translator for people. Like,
Okay, good.
I have NF consume and ST blast, so I can tell to like the lead sensory. I'm like, oh, this is what they said, and then have to like translate. It's kind of weird that I have to be translate for like NF people. Um,
That's funny. I'm the
it's not
same
really a
way.
language. Okay.
Hold on. Let me process for a moment. He just said, that's funny because I have to like blast for the NFs. And thank you for your contribution. I feel like I had to do that too, in a way, honestly. Even though I'm NF, I still feel like I need to ST blast the NF. And it makes sense because of the way my cognitive is built, but still, it's crazy to think about. So,
To ask each other questions now. So this is a good opportunity to learn from your half. And I always see like jumpers and standards. Like if you guys were to merge, you become like complete, like the complete. So um, let's go with Joyce first. So Joyce, what question would you have for Frank?
Yeah, what was most revolutionary of learning about your OPS type?
Uh, Play last, I think that explained a lot of things. I mean, I think if anything, that's the most relevant part of my type because it explained why I just don't like.
oh shoot, maybe I responded prematurely in my first reaction video to this topic. So let's see what he says.
Why I'm so averse to interacting with people because it just feels like you're always you're opening a can of worms anytime you have any involvement with the tribe, like they're just gonna blow everything into chaos. um, so I've always been very selective with um, like leaving the house or talking to people because even people that I know well, like friends, family, or whatever, it's just like, oh my gosh, I gotta go, deal with whatever they want to do. It's really weird to be play last, but also save your DE because those things are in very those things are in opposition to each other. So yeah, play last, that was the biggest I mean, I understood what was going on in my life, sort of, but having a specific thing to describe it, I was like, okay, well, it's starting to add up now.
Very interesting.
I'm curious. So you're play last. And so in the YouTube space, you're big, right? But in real life, you have friends and family that don't care about personality type. So
Yeah.
and then so you're like, oh yeah, I have like this thing going on, this YouTube stuff, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, do you ever how do you relate to that? Like how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, most people are interested in the YouTube stuff, but when it comes to the personality stuff, most people only have the people who do get interested in it don't understand they don't understand the complexity of it. So they're like, they'll be like, type me. And I'm like, I mean, you guys probably have the same, thing happen when people find out that you're into typology. They're like, what type do you think I am? And it's like, a lot of times I'm like, I have no idea. Other times I don't want to say anything because
I actually don't mind that at all when someone come to me. I mean, if they do come to me, I don't really have much people coming to me. So, I mean, there's a reason for that, obviously. I'm not out here making videos on the topic of MBTI. But if someone I know were to come to me and ask me, like, what type do you think I am? I wouldn't mind it. But yes, I agree with Mr. James. Can I call you Mr. James? I'm good. He's married and he has a family too. He talk about it on his channel, I see. But Mr. James, uh what was I going to say? Yeah, but just like Mr. James said, typing someone is a very complex thing. And I'm not going to lie, I do have a desire to give a simple answer to the person, but even I know I stop myself. Even I know, like, yeah, I wanna, how can I say it? Not blunt. It's not the word blunt. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I want to disrespect the ST in a way. I don't know. I want to, I don't know. I don't know what I'm disrespecting, but I want to disrespect something and give you the answer right away and not think about it. I just want to tell you. I'd be like, oh, well, I always thought you're an INTJ, ENFP, ESTJ, or something like that. But a part of a huge part of me is like, listen, I have to take responsibility on what I tell you, what I think your type is, because it will impact how you approach towards life. And if you trust me and I mess it up in a way, I mess up your self-perception of yourself in a way, because I don't want to lie to a person. Even if it's true, I do think of them as an INFP and I was already typing them in my head or something like that. But human beings are biased, and that bias may not be the most helpful. Also, I pay attention to myself more than I pay attention to another person. So, take it with a grain of salt, please. Okay, let's go on.
like, well, what if I say, well, you're clearly, a thinker, and they're like, oh, I thought I was a feeler, now I'm offended. So uh, um, uh,
Oh, he brought up another good point. The emotional aspect of it. it was funny because while I was explaining how I don't want to be responsible for how a person think of themselves, and I don't want to be the reason why their thinking of themselves went bad. But in my head, I was telling myself, "Oh, I'm not allowed to talk about the emotional aspect." It was subconscious. I didn't even realize that. I didn't even touch the it was in my head, but I did not want to touch it. But now that he said, I feel comfortable saying it. The emotional aspect of it as well. Okay.
Yeah, but it's funny because the with play last and people being so interested in the YouTube side of it, that can be a bit draining because I almost don't want to get into that conversation sometimes because when you have to catch people up to speed with something and they don't know anything about YouTube, it's a big ask for me in a conversation. So yeah.
Do you refer them to your other channel? I think most people don't know you have like another channel where you like teach like
Yeah, no, I haven't done that. No, yeah, the new it used to be called College YouTuber Studies. Now it's Creator Accelerators, and then I never posted anything on it.
Looking it up right now. When was this video made? Yeah, it's not the same thing. Oh, no, it's still not the same thing. I don't know. Okay.
That was me trying to branch out, but didn't have enough material to put out there.
gotcha. Maybe one day. Um, so Frank,
I didn't make my YouTube video, not YouTube video. I didn't make my YouTube channel until I can think of something that would allow me to have enough materials to continue making content. So I thought it was very interesting that he mentioned that. Like he just made a channel and then he realized he didn't have enough material to continue make making content. Well, me on the other hand, it took me a while to think of a content that would allow me to keep posting, which is why on my description box of my channel, I mention how I'm going to change my mind. I'm gonna post things unrelated to the quote unquote advertisement message I'm trying to put out into the world. So, very interesting.
what question would you have for Joyce?
Uh, about being glass last and having because you are blast last, right? I didn't just imagine that, right? Okay.
Yes.
Maybe you did.
Oh my goodness. He said he did that as a savior state. Because sometimes I be thinking I'm imagining things. And so that's why I double, triple, quadruple check. But he's like, you're blast last, right? I didn't just imagine it. And he's like, he's 100% comfortable with that. So That makes me happy.
Just kidding.
Because it's like, you know, Blast is teaching lessons, you know, in a way. It's communicating. It's telling people what you have figured out. Like in my life, I see it as giving unsolicited advice all the time. So how do you see that at work in your life?
Yeah, it appears in the format that I write more eloquently than I speak. And so when I actually have time to process something, it comes out better than me talking. Because I tend to stutter sometimes,
I can
say I
relate.
guess, or use filler words, and also have trouble with communication at times. Yeah, I guess public speaking is something I have to learn, so it's not something that comes naturally. And so I think that's how Blast shows up. And I think another way it shows up too is I try not to be presumptuous of people. And so I don't always feel like I have the right to teach them. And so I wait until I think I know what I'm talking about to tell them about certain things.
Okay, yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better as someone who is Blast first, I don't feel like I am very eloquent at all. So I struggle with speaking too. I think it's really just like I don't have that hesitation to tell people, hey, here's here's this truth about life that you should know that will help you. So you're saying like you feel uncomfortable doing that unless you're like, I know for sure that I understand this person's situation and this piece of advice will help them out? Or do you still feel uncomfortable at that point?
I will tell them, and if I think that advice will help them, of course I would send it their way. But I tend to, when I speak, you can hear the degree of confidence I have in what I'm saying. So my tonality of confidence is obvious in how accurate I think it is. So do you know in mathematics, you learn about the principle of confidence intervals, and there's like a 90 to 98% chance that that's probably right. You can hear the degree of surety in my voice. And so people oftentimes, I've had people on my
I just want to let my viewers know I did not watch this video before reacting to it. So whatever comes to me, it's what comes to me. So thank you for listening.
channel tell me, oh, Joyce, I think you lack integrity because you never say things with full confidence. And like, you should just speak with full confidence. And I'm like, to me, that's a lack of integrity to always speak with full confidence because I never feel fully confident. And so I don't want to lie to you about my state of the accuracy of what I think I'm saying is. So a blast can come from knowing all the ways you could be wrong. And so you want to be able to make sure other people know that there's a degree.
Oh, wow. I did not realize that, but it makes a lot of sense. I thought knowing ways I could be wrong was my low play, but I did not realize that was a trait of a blast individual. So that's very nice to know. As someone with savior feminine NT, I don't really think of the ways in which I could be wrong. I just know that there's multiple ways I could be wrong, if that makes sense. So, yes.
Of possible wrongness, just because nothing is for sure. I think it's also me over NTing it to the point where I blast poorly sometimes too.
Okay, yeah, no, that's interesting because I've always wondered about that. It's like it's weird, like with the TI demon, I worry that I'm wrong, like in decisions, but when I'm think blasters don't mind BSing, and it's like, well, if I'm wrong with my advice, it's like I can, I picked that up from somewhere else. My DE picked that up. I can blame someone else for it. The thing I said. So yeah, that is the confidence thing. That's very interesting. Like when I think about it now,
I guess that's another trait of having blast last, in the sense of I can't think how to blame someone else. So that's why I have a tendency not to really blame someone else, even though there should be someone to blame when it comes to certain teachings and messages they're spewing and more. But yeah, and I've noticed that since I was pretty young, I have a hard time blaming someone for teaching something incorrectly. I just don't. And honestly, maybe I should. Maybe I should. But I need to NT figure it out for my own self. So we'll see how that works out in the future. But yeah, I just can't DE figure out how to blame someone else for something I'm taught to do. And that's shocking, actually.
even if I say I could be wrong here, I will just say whatever advice. And it's like, this is probably right, even though I'm not entirely sure. Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and I do it for respect out of other people too sometimes. So with TI being a TI savior, I'm creating a cupcake of logic. It's 30 layers deep. So if I take someone's advice seriously and I add it to my TI framework and it's wrong, then the whole cake sucks. And so it takes a lot of effort to redo the framework and to remake it. And so I fear messing people up in that sense, because I'm like, I don't want to have to make you redo your formula, because that's painful, because the TI is personal. But I think your way of doing it is amazing. All props to it. That's just how I see my view.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, well, I don't have, neither of us have a choice. That's just the type.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking about what you guys were saying, and I was like just taking bits and pieces. So for Frank, I think what I picked up is like, yeah, Frank, you would blast, but the fact that you're saying I am wrong, I mean, I could be wrong. It kind of shows like more like the obsession with accuracy of information, you know?
Kind of reminds me how whenever someone, not whenever someone, but whenever I give out, sometimes, well, and it is sometimes, but whenever I give out advice, I would often tell someone, yeah, but I could be wrong though. So just to let you know, I could be wrong. And you would think it is because I'm humble, but it's not because I'm humble, but it's because I don't want to get blamed. I don't want to get blamed. If something goes wrong, I don't want to get blamed. But I do think it is important that you are aware of the information I'm giving you, just in case you perform better versus you couldn't perform better because you lack the information. So,
It's like, because like I think that the true blaster INFJ are like the consume last, because they'll just like
Yeah.
teach the hell out of you with no context, you know? So not I mean, of course, some of them figure that out. They're like, oh, maybe I should be like consuming. So obviously, not everyone, but you know, like in general. And then for Joyce, I like what you said about you can't always blast with full confidence, because that would be like lying, you know, essentially. So I think that's really good. I did notice though that even IJs with blast last can be quite confident at talking once they get started. Like you just take longer to get started, but once you get the ball rolling, I think you're good. I'm dating an INTJ, you know, so my girlfriend is
Cool.
also blast last, same animal stack as Joyce, sleep, consume, play blast, double feminine. And yeah, usually she does that take you along, consume, talk, you know, which like talks in circles. But when you trigger her, oh my god, she's like so well spoken. You know, it's like NITE, you know, will just slap you in the face, you know, with that. And I've seen her use it before on people and they get rattled. Like I literally see them rattled, you know. So yeah, it's scary. That the blast swing for like the blast last is like scary. And the last point I want to bring up is
Thank
also
you.
I think you can get away with play a lot of times if you don't have blast. And like I don't know, Frank, if you've seen Joyce.
I do plan on being more scary on my channel and in general, so that's nice to know. Thank you, Kendrick. You give me permission to be scarier. I mean, imagine for the blast last individual, his girlfriend or Joyce or more people. In general, everybody's afraid of their last animal. Their fear can be found in their last animal. But just as having blast last can be scary to people who witness a demon blast last person finally blasting, it can be just as scary to the individual themselves. Hence why they don't use it often. And then it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is really interesting.
But she's like a monster. She interviews like freaking like 8 people one time. And I'm like, my God, what kind of like super introvert is this? Like interviewing like 8 people in one go.
Yeah, I admire that because it would be a nightmare for me just to organize that kind of interview. So yeah, when I see that, I'm like, wow, this is impressive.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that's potentially a power that you could have because you know you guys are both INFJs, right? So you know, I try doing those panel interviews. I do them once in a while, kind of like what Joyce does, and they are nightmare to put together. Like I have anxiety attack putting those together. You know, I know people love them, so I do them for like the viewers. But man, like when I know I have a big panel like series coming up, I'm like, oh my god, my life's gonna suck for like the next while. You know, private upsell, so it's fine. It's fine. But yeah. Anyways, guys, so I'm gonna ask you guys like a very deep question and see if you guys I want to see what your take on this. So there's a saying, you are only as strong as your weakest link. All right. And your weakest link is your extrovert sensing for both of you. And both of you have feminine extrovert sensing, which makes it even harder. Alongside with that, Joyce, you have blast last, NIFE, and Frank, you have play last. So what are your thoughts?
In the last video, I was cheering a lot when Kendrick was asking certain questions. But the true enjoyment is this question right here.
Are on this saying and how it relates to you personally, you know, with your weakest link. I know both of you do use your fourth animal, which is awesome. That's why you guys are obviously seeing the success that you do. I know, Frank, you call it fake play, but yeah, you're doing it. So whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. So who wants to take this question first? Otherwise, I'll pick someone.
I'll go first.
Okay. Go for
I'll
it.
blast my way through it.
And you know what's so funny to me? Is that I've been fake blasting a lot. And I came to that conclusion a day or two ago. And I'm not going to get over that for a while.
Only as strong as your weakest link. Well, I think I think it comes back to the classic OP kind of teachings where it's like you can get by on your saviors for a long time. You can kind of skate through, but there's going to be a point if not several points throughout your life where you have to, deal with that inferior function. You have to pay the piper at some point. So for extroverted sensing, because that is just like reality around you, coming at you in real time, it makes it hard to ignore. So I'll be able to, in my own life, how do I see that at work? It's like I'll do as much NIFE and TI as I can, because working by myself, I think it's easier for me to use the demon TI when I'm just on my own. Like I can figure out how to make my own videos and whatever and do it my way, blah blah blah, because I don't have people around. As soon as I leave the house or whatever, the SE will come, trying to taking its due.
Okay, so I don't know if I did something right. Oh, okay. No, I did something right. Okay. Sorry, I was going to be confused. But it's okay. It's okay.
Even when I'm in the studio, when stuff breaks down or whatever. So I think it is a thing where you have to be paying attention to that weakest link, because it will come out of nowhere, as Joyce found out today, at the worst time. And I went on my honeymoon to Italy a month ago, and there was a point in Rome.
Oh, shoot. So he just gotten, I believe he just gotten married in 2022. Okay. Okay. Well, congratulations to him. I mean, I knew he have a wife currently. I just didn't know when he got married, so that's very cool.
Where we had to turn in a rental car, and nobody told me that the gas stations over there are different than they are over here. So suddenly I'm like in this situation where I've got to figure out how to pay for gas, and then we pay, and it's not even like a regular station, it's just one pump on the side of the road. And so we pull up and we're putting money in it. I can't get it to work. And I was having like a true meltdown in that moment. And it's, and it was a really dumb thing to get upset about looking back on it. But yeah, to broaden that out to everyone in their type, if you allow yourself to get into those freakouts over things that other people would say that's stupid, don't do that. Um, you're going, there's no reason for that amount of suffering, because it's self-inflicted at a certain point because you didn't pay attention to that weakest link. I guess what all that is to say is, yes, you can get by long enough, but it will swing back and hit you.
Right. I guess that like that fourth function at the bottom there, that is like the tax collector, and then when you don't use
Yeah.
it, at least you're like evading taxes, and
Yeah.
yeah, and something's gonna come after you, no matter how much you evade it,
Yeah.
What's that saying that they have? It's like the only thing guaranteed in life is death and taxes or something. So yeah. So that fourth function can cause both, death, or something bad will happen. um, what about the play last part, Frank? So that's also one of your weakest link. I know you've been practicing it in your channel, and actually I noticed that you've been kind of playing with fire lately. Like you had like a buddy in some of your videos, and I was like, oh, what the? There's not a person in
Yeah.
in your video. So I'm like, oh, he's adding some play, like real play now. Like what's going on?
Yeah, I have avoided collaborations for a long time because I just don't want to. I just don't want to do it. Like it's nice in theory, but then in practice, it's like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Why did I do this? So, and it really comes down to like like you can't force someone else to conform to your plans, your control. So that's what it is. How does play is the weakest link? I forget if I think at some point Dave and Shan were like, your last function is something that you are aware of that is causing all the problems in your life, but your last animal is something that everyone else is aware of. I think that's what they said. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up, but
Yeah.
so it's
Sounds about
more
right.
difficult for me to see play as being the weakest link. Like, I feel the pain of play, which is why I avoid it. But I don't know how much I necessarily see the issues that it causes. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like I feel guilty when I don't like respond to text messages or emails or whatever. So that can cause problems, but maybe a lot of it's happening behind closed doors. You know, people are like, Frank, he's not, he's not playing. So it's hard to speak on that level.
Yeah, they're gonna be waiting outside your house ready to jump you, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah, that's the tidal wave. Yeah. All right. What about for you, Joyce? Yeah, same question.
Yeah, the weakest link. We could
Okay, so we got less than 2 minutes left. So let's see what she say.
with Blast. So the ways in which Blast affects me is sometimes you feel like everything good has already been said. And so it's like, well, why talk? Because everyone's already said such amazing things.
Oh my goodness. Yes. And I'm still shocked that I made a YouTube channel. Being able to find something that people haven't said. Of course, I explain where I get my sources. But to think of a topic I can just be. That's insane. And yes, people will be able to talk about some of the things I will talk about on my channel, but they will do it differently from how I will do it. My channel is very different, and I'm glad I was able to be in the process to Frankenstein it, bring it to life. So this is a long working vision that is allowing me to improve myself as I improve it. To invest in it, it invests in me back. And I hope my viewers get something out of it too. So, shoot, now I have 2 minutes. Okay, let it play.
And so that can get in the way of me actually providing and teaching what I have to teach. And so there can be that. And in terms of extroverted sensing being the weakest link, it's tough because adapting and improvising can be quite jarring, a la this room right here. And sometimes the best way to go and face your fear is to go through it. Just like those TV shows where if there's someone afraid of pickles, like you see them actually being exposed to pickles on those reality TV shows, exposure therapy is a huge thing. And so I heavily believe in if something is your weakest link, you try to face your fears and expose yourself to it so that you develop your weaker links. It's like if your natural hand is your right hand, but you want to get better writing with your left hand, you can try your best to learn how to write with your left hand. And that's what Carl Jung wanted us to do with type. Type shows us the areas in which we're one-sided, and so that we can learn to be more individuated by being able to well-round ourselves. And so I think with our weakest links, they're also our greatest potential points. They're our greatest opportunities in disguise. And so it's just an area of gold waiting to be mined of the gold. Although it can be tough because our weakest spots hurt our ego. So we sometimes have to come to terms with certain things where we feel insufficient at, and we have to.
If you're me, your weakest spot is the ego. But that's a different conversation to have in the future. So that concludes the second part to reacting to a video topic on the difference between a standard INFJ versus a jumper slash sleeper INFJ. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I hope you learned something new. Thank you and have a wonderful day. You're welcome to love all Ember too. Bye bye.